Hi everyone, I would like to do a review on a torch that I believe to be great value for money. That's this little Watchman. It's a Watchman 3-watt Cree LED torch. I would definitely recommend this torch for people who are just getting started or have never gotten around to getting a high-powered torch. I would recommend it for someone who wants a very affordable, great value for money torch for their EDC. Someone who wants to have really good torches for different kits. So if you want to have one really good torch for your EDC, one for your bug out bag, one for your camping bag, one for your day pack, and you don't want to have to keep moving your one expensive torch in between bags, and you don't want to have to buy an expensive torch for each kit, I definitely recommend this because it's such great value for money. As well as I would definitely recommend this as a cachet item with some lithium batteries just because they store longer, as well as, if you can afford it, a means to recharge rechargeable batteries. I really like the performance out of this torch, but it is cheap enough that I can afford to buy a few of these to put in cachets, bury them in the ground, and just leave them. It's not going to break the bank to buy a couple of these. In fact, I have probably bought over half a dozen. You know, they make great gifts. In fact, I really should have done this video before Christmas because, well, this would be a great stocking filler. So, quite a powerful torch, but it's really cheap, so it's not going to break the bank. You're buying one. But they're also just great to just give away. So, yeah, it's a great, if you're looking for something really cheap but still really good performance, I really recommend this torch. And if you can't find this one, I'll highlight what makes it such a great torch, and maybe you can find something comparable in your area. Now, I love the value of this torch because it has great features and a great price. Last time I checked, it retails for $24 and it puts out 150 lumens. That is great. And for Australians, they're easy to get a hold of if you live near a Bunnings. That's where I picked this up from. Got from Bunnings, $24. If we were going to go with a big brand name torch such as Lead Lenser, I believe you would be paying quite a lot more than $24 in Australia for a lead lenser that puts out 150 lumens. I know it's kind of hard to convey how bright 150 lumens is for, you know, without being able to accurately show you because, you know, camera equipment and whatnot. But just to give you some idea of how bright 150 lumens is, I can actually film wildlife on this camera with 150 lumens. My camera is not very good for light. It is horrible for light, in fact. However, a few nights ago, I was out driving around and there was a 2-meter python on the road. I dodged it so it fit between my tires and I didn't hurt it. Went back to check on it, got out my camera, yep, completely pitch black. Put this on its brightest setting and I was able to get this great footage. That is a beautiful snake. Just to give you some perspective, you know those little 9 super bright LED torches that are just everywhere? This thing blows them away, no problem. Now, the other features of this that make it great is the fact that you can zoom in, and it has 3 settings. It has a bright setting, a dim setting, and a strobe. I won't show you the strobe, I don't want to give someone an epileptic fit. But that would be great for signaling, or if you just want to dazzle something, because it's like... I usually use a LED lens, or I think it's a P7. It's about 25, it's 25% stronger, hell of a lot more than 25% more expensive. In fact, I would have been better off buying 2 of these and duct taping them together. When I'm walking along at night, for whatever reason, because we have such venomous snakes in this country, I like to put it on the wide beam, so I can get a wide angle, so I can see where I'm going, but at the same time see off to the sides of the track in case there's a snake. Sometimes if you walk too close to a snake without realizing it, you can make them feel threatened and they will attack you, trying to defend themselves even though you were just walking past. But you know, they didn't know that. You might have freaked them out and they might have thought you were after them. Even on the wide angle, I can still shine it down, I can still see where I'm putting my feet, and I can see off to the sides. But when I'm in camp and I want to shine off and I want a bit more distance because I heard something move, I can put it on the thin beam and it projects the light brighter over more of a distance so I can see better, which comes in great when you're in dense vegetation. When you're in dense vegetation, the stuff that's closest to you gets hit by the most intense light. So if you've got wide beam in really dense brush and you're trying to see off into the distance, the light's going to go out and it's going to hit the closest vegetation. And it's going to be a hell of a lot brighter than what's a bit further away. So there's going to be massive contrast there. So the stuff closest to you will be brightest, stuff further away where you actually want to see will be a lot darker, your eyes will adjust, and basically all you're going to see is the stuff that's really close. But when you've got that ability to tighten up the beam so it shoots through the vegetation, you don't get that, and you can actually see where it is you actually want to. And you can see through the vegetation instead of whatever's closest. So that's a very good feature to have if you're using this in the outdoors. On top of that, you've got your dim setting so it can chew up less light, or you can, you know, use it when you don't want such intense light. Either you want to not be seen as easily, whatever it is you're doing that you might not want to be detected, I don't know. Or if you're reading something out in the bush or somewhere dark and you don't want a heap of glare coming back at you. I really like the duller settings for that. Yeah, reading. See, if you're here with a white page, reading stuff on it with 150 lumens blasting at it, not the best. For me, that's not a comfortable amount of light bouncing back at me. So for that, the dull setting is really nice. So if you want to, you know, read a book at night when you're out bush, having a dull setting, or sometimes even just a duller torch, can really make a difference. It's very noticeable. It's 150 lumens going flash, 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 flash. I'd show you on the camera, but I wouldn't want to risk giving someone an epileptic fit. But yeah, it's quite powerful. It is pretty powerful. So if you need something for signaling, that should help. Now, one downside. I sent one of these off as a gift and did not cover it in protective packaging, so it would have just been bouncing around in the box all the way to where he lives. And I checked it to make sure it worked before I sent it, and when it got there it wasn't working. So if you want to send one of these by mail, definitely want to cover it in a lower packaging, and that just means it's not a bomb-proof torch. Is 3 AAA batteries. So it's a battery that is easily found, not like some of those really high powered, really top of the line torches that take those special batteries. Those batteries are a lot more expensive than some of the AAAs. And of course, if you want this for a bug out torch or some kind of disaster, it would be easier to find AAAs than whatever special kind of it would be easier to find more AAA batteries than it would be easier to find more AAA batteries to fit this, because they are quite abundant and used and widely used, than whatever specialized super high performance battery that your torch takes but probably no one else uses for anything. Just something to consider. And yes, I have been thinking about building a cache and putting one of these with some lithium batteries for long storage life in with it. Though I would also want to have a hand crank torch in there as well, in case the batteries don't last. Because, you know, batteries do not last forever in storage, and if you ever use them, batteries don't last forever. I definitely would recommend this torch for its great value for money, especially if you're just getting into the outdoors, or you just want to get a good torch but you don't want to break the bank for it. I would really recommend this. Or if you just want to be able to buy another torch for a specialized kit or a cache, or to give away as a gift, I would recommend at least looking into one of these. I believe them to be great value for money, really good performance, but not super expensive. I mean, it's 150 lumen torch with lots of great settings, you know, focus beam, bright, dim, strobe. Takes AAA, but it retails for about $25. So that's great value, especially when you compare it to some of the big name brands. And for Australians, you can find it at Bunnings. But for people who are not near a Bunnings or not in Australia, it might be worth looking for one of these online. Alright everyone, have a good one.